I'd ask, as far as coalitions go, I guess the question from my fellow candidates is there a single issue that you are nope, this is one way or the other on? For me, I guess that's funding. I do have that as a purity test. If you're taking dark money, corrupt money, if you're taking large donations from out of state, from PACs, you're going to have a hard time getting me to side with you. I'm not saying I'll stop listening. I'm not saying that's the end of our discussion, but I am saying that's probably the one thing that to me proves you are not serious about representing people.
So I'd say that I agree with that sentiment as far as money and dark money and PAC money goes. I think if you want to be representative for people, you have to be funded by people. Because the second you start taking money from corporations or special interest groups, you are beholden to that group. Whether you want to be or not, whether you say you are or not, you are. It always comes with strings. And I think people try really hard to rationalize it in their heads why they take that money. And it's easy to be like, oh, I'm the good guy because X, Y, and Z. But at the end of the day, you're still doing favors for someone else because of the donations they made to your campaign.
That's true.
We've had way too much influence. Citizens United, I think, honestly, at the root of a lot of our political problems right now is the interest of corporate money and special interest groups. I think my favorite example is pharmaceutical companies spend more money on lobbyists in Congress than anything else. That's CEO salaries, that's research and development, it's drug development. They spend more money lobbying politicians and donating to campaigns than anything else. And I think that just imagine a world where the sheer volume of cash we're spending over there was put into research and development for drugs. So I absolutely agree with Jeromy too, and I think he's completely correct in that kind of purity test.
Excellent. So I also am very much against corporate money. That's kind of my big issue, because I don't feel like we can tackle any other issues until we tackle that particular issue. And I've been offered corporate PAC money twice now, and I've turned it down. It's not hard to do. Really? And one of the PACs still endorsed me as a candidate. It doesn't preclude you, because a lot of times they pick candidates because they already follow that ideology. So I was the group I'm talking about is the Humanist Society. So they formed a PAC and decided to try and support candidates who follow their ideology. So I was happy to take that endorsement, but not the money. And I think that's important that we all do that. And that's also kind of why we need to do things like this, is because we're not taking that money, we're not spending all this money on ads and online media, and we got to be, find other ways to do it. So
get creative.
Yeah, get creative.
So for me personally, I see the financial corruption.
And who are you?
I'm Clay Johnston, running for U.S. Senate 2018.
Yeah, let's make sure we get everybody's
Yeah,
names
that probably
out there.
helps. I'm Sarah Smith. I'm running for Congress in Washington's 9th Congressional District.
I'm Robert Hunziker, running in 8th Congressional.
And you guys can have beards?
Yeah.
This way, I mean, they manage it. Not me, though. Sorry.
You don't want to see me without one.
I would like to way that I was
We're mixing it up.
Personally, I see the financial corruption in our government as being the most prominent issue that we have to deal with. Without dealing with that, we can't move on to a lot of our other issues without having some sort of negative impact. But that's not for me a litmus test. The way that you go about handling that, I think, is so varied that you're not going to wind up with just one set way of doing it, and it's my way or the highway. My litmus test personally would be healthcare, universal healthcare. Everybody in, nobody out. Studies have shown it will be not only cheaper, but morally more beneficial to society as a whole if we simply have all of our healthcare costs covered by taxpayers. Now, when people say, well, why should I cover somebody else who's getting sick by their own choices, diabetes, for example? Well, because if you don't, the costs to you as a taxpayer are going to be that much larger. And people don't make that correlation of, if we take the time to do preventative care, it's going to save us a lot of hurt later on. And that's, for me personally, that litmus test, something that we need to handle, and there is no apologeticness about it. We need universal health care as every citizen in America.